Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Andy. I am the head coach of the Information Lab. Excuse me. This is Andy. I am the global head coach of the Data School for the Information Lab, and I'm here today for a session we call Watch Me Viz. So what I'll do is I will go through the latest Makeover Monday, look at what we can do better with the graph, take the data, and maybe build some interesting things, and hopefully you learn a thing or two along the way. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat. I will keep an eye on those and answer them if I can. Let's get to it. Okay, we're going to start on the... Okay, so we're going to start on the Makeover Monday page and go to the original. Actually, I'll just go ahead and go to the data source. So this is on data.world if you're not familiar with it. And so this is the original visualization actually done in Tableau. It was kind of a pain to get the data. 1 second, my son has just arrived. Okay, there we go. So let me go ahead and, so this is the original visualization. It's from the US Census Bureau. And if I just go ahead and go to the original visualization. So it looks like we're looking at something pretty simple, just business formations. If I look at the type of application, we have business applications from corporations. Those are the two that we have in our data set. We can pick a particular month. So let's say I want to look at, scroll too far there. Let's say we want to look at July 2022, and this is going to show us the month-over-month change. So we can see that Pennsylvania had a 28% increase. I think the colors feel like they're a bit backwards to me. So we've got orange. I tend to think of orange as bad and blue as good. But that's okay. They can do it whatever way they want, I suppose. And so we've got the map, which is pretty simple. It looks like they used I think it's called a Mercator map. So you see Alaska and Hawaii are positioned really nicely. The U.S. has some curve to it as well. We then down here on the bottom left have a percent change by region. So just an aggregation of the different regions. I don't know if it has any interactivity. Okay, so it's got interactivity between the left and the right down here. So we're just looking at the US total here on the right, and then you can filter it down to a particular region if you want. So nothing particularly complicated, pretty easy to understand, I would say, but let's see what we can do with it. Okay, so the data itself, let's go ahead and connect to it. And it's called Business Formation Statistics. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat and I will get to them if I can. So first thing I'm going to do is just rename the data source at the top. And we've got a few fields. We've got the month, the category, so that must be the different industry or something like that. The state abbreviation. So we have, let me just go ahead and look at the aliases for that to get an idea. So we have each of the states, so that all looks okay. And then we have the US for US total as well. Okay, so that's good to know. And then it looks like this is, so we've got an abbreviation and then the state itself. So we can maybe do some comparisons to the US overall. We have the number of business applications from corporations, I believe. Yep, and then just the business applications in general. So let's go to a new sheet. And I'm going to start with a couple of sheets down here. So I'm going to start off with when, and then another one would be where, and who. So who in this case, I'm thinking probably just going to look at the different categories. And then so who, so maybe this one would actually be what or which categories. And then we can't really do why or how because we don't have enough information to do that. All right, so I'm going to start by just looking at, let's right click and drag month to the columns, and let's pick maybe just month continuous, because I think it's just monthly data anyway. Yes, we've got, okay, so it looks like, is the data right? Okay, let's just put business applications on here and see what we get. Okay, so you see something's wrong with the way that the data has been read in. Probably, yeah, so let me see here. So I'm going to, oops, I'm just going to drag it in first and just make it month discrete. And then if I put the, so let's see, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, so 12. I think what's happening here is, let's see, so this should be, okay. So what does it look like for 2022? So it should be month, day, year, I believe is the format here, but my computer's set up differently. So let me, I think I need to go in here to date properties. And so my week format. Okay, so this is where it always becomes a bit of an issue. So let's look at the default properties. I don't think it's date format. I think we're going to need to split it up and then make it into a date again. Okay, so what's happening here is this looks like, so because my computer is set up for UK date format, but this is in US date format, it's reading it as, so these are all January. So it's looking at January 1st, 2nd, 3rd through January 7th, which isn't what we want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split out the dates. So let's take the, I'm going to actually change the date to a text, to a string. And let's see what happens there. Okay, so that's good. And now I'm going to split apart the date. So we always have the month. The month is the first part, the day is the second part, and the year is the third part. So I'm going to go ahead and transform and split those. And if I drag those up here, we have the, okay, so that's not what we want. Let me undo. So let's do a custom split. And we want to look at the separator is a hyphen, and we want to look at the first 3 columns. Okay, so now if I drag those up, you'll see we've got the, okay, so we don't need split 2. And now that I have those, so I'm going to delete this one. So this one is going to be my month number. And then this one is going to be my oops. Let's rename that year number. Okay, and then now that I have those, I can create a date. So I'm going to create a calculated field, and let's just call this, I'm just going to call it month. And I'm going to use the make date function, and I'm going to first pass to it my year number, and then my month number, and then comma 1, because we just want the first of every month. What happened here? Edit. Make, oh, so let's fine. Let's just make this an integer and make this an integer. Okay, so what happened there was year and month were strings over here on the left-hand side. So if I change them to numbers, then we can just use a make date function here. Okay, so let me clear the screen. I'm going to go back here and let's just drag that up into the view and month continuous. Okay, so that looks better. So let's look at business applications, and we get something like that. But this does include the US in total. So let me, let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's create a set, and I'm going to call this US only. And US total, or maybe I'll call it, yeah, that's fine. Okay, now if I put that on color, you'll see they overlap each other. That's fine, because each individual state adds up to the US total. So you see if I highlight them. So the in is the US total, the out is all the states added up together. So that's good, it confirms that the math is actually right. So if I want to look at the US total, I can just do that. And there we go, we get something like that. Okay, so we could maybe look at this as a, I don't know what corporate applications are. Okay, so corporate applications went down while business applications went up. Okay, let's try, I'm going to try something here. So let's make it a, I'm going to drag that to detail. Okay. And if I move, I'm going to create a connected scatter plot. So if I put month onto path, okay, doesn't tell us anything. So let's make that red. Oops. Because it's no good. So I was just trying to create a connected scatter plot, but it doesn't really give me any kind of seasonality or anything like that. But oh, actually, I wonder if I change this to quarters. Okay, still no good. All right. If I change this one to quarters, now we get something like that. Okay, I think I like the monthly numbers better. Okay, so that's that. Maybe I can overlap them and we get something like that. All right, so still nothing particularly useful. So I'm going to do a new worksheet. And this time, let's look at, let's see. So I'm going to look at the year here. And then let's look at the month here. And I'm just going to look to see if there's any type of seasonality. So if I look back over here, we can see they're generally going up. We've got a big spike here in July of 2020. I wonder if there was some kind of incentive for companies to start in July of 2020 in the US, maybe something COVID related. So the heat map doesn't really tell me a whole lot. Let's try it from businesses. Okay, so number of business applications is steadily declined, but no seasonality or anything like that. I'm going to flip it around. Okay, I was just kind of looking to see if there were any sort of stripes going down to show any kind of seasonality, but we don't see that. Okay, that's fine. So that's that. That's that. Let's duplicate this, and let's say that we want to compare everything to the US average. All right, so let's see. So if I put that one to color, and let's look at that. Okay, so now we have that versus the US average. Okay, so that's not going to help me very much. Okay, so let's call this US total. And so US total business applications. Okay, so I want to always just get the US back as its own metric. So I'm going to fix this on the monthly level. And I'm going to say sum if state abbreviation equals US. Then I want to get my business applications and close off the sum and then close off the mustachio. So let me just move that down to a second line. So now what we should see here is we get the same numbers. Okay, so that's good. And now I could say, so that's just always going to give me the US. Okay, so, but I don't know what I'm trying to do. Okay, so let's go here. And on this one, I want to put maybe this state onto detail. I know it's a bit of a mess here. So that's the US total. But I want to compare everything to the US total. Okay. Because let's see. All right, that's fine. So no, I don't want to compare everything to the US total because that then, yeah. Okay, let's try maybe something like, let me see here, just give me 1 second. Just gonna stop sharing my screen for a second. I just need to move something over to another screen. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I think I'm gonna create maybe a let me see. So if oops, nothing there. Oh, I meant to turn on my highlighting as well to make it a bit easier. So if I right click and drag month to the columns and I choose month continuous, and let's look at US applications. And if I wanted to look at maybe year-over-year change or month-over-month change, I could do percent difference and maybe make this a bar. And let's make this discrete. And then if I duplicate that to the color, oops, wrong button. Duplicate that to the color. Let's do entire view, something like that. So there's a lot of seasonality in this. Okay, nothing particularly interesting. So we've got February. Yeah, it looks like almost every other month. Okay, so again, nothing particularly useful. I'm going to build. I'm going to try to build maybe a. Oh, hang on a second. I think I lost my screen here. Oh, there we go. Okay. I thought I lost you all for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to build a trellis chart, and you can find lots of tutorials about this, but I'm going to just bring up my tutorial here. So I'm going to just copy these here. Actually, what I'll do is I'll share this over here so you can see it. So I've got a little tutorial here. So if you want to look at doing this later, you can just pause this video. So we're going to create a new calculated field. I'm just going to paste those in. And now I can drag that over to give me my rows calculation. Drag this one over to give me my columns calculation. And then we don't need that. Okay, let's go back. And then the steps. Create the row and column calcs, create a custom date, place custom date on columns. Okay, so let's create, I got to get rid of this. This thing's driving me crazy. Okay, so let's create a custom date. And yeah, we can leave it exact date. That's fine. And we want to drag that to the columns. These both need to be discrete. I'll show you what we're going to do in a minute here. Okay, so place custom date on the columns, the measure on the rows, and dimension on detail. Okay, so measure, my measure is business applications, and then my state abbreviation is on detail. Okay, ensure the dimension is above the date on the detail. Oh wait, let's see, create a custom date. I think I put the wrong thing here. Well, that didn't work. Okay, there we go. Create a custom date, place a custom date on the columns, and custom date onto detail. And then I want to make sure that dimension is above the date on detail shelf. Okay, so that's good. Change the custom date on the columns to an attribute. Okay. All right, and then I want to configure my table calc. So the dimension, then the date in that order. So edit table calc, dimension, then date, and then at the level dimension. So at the level state, and then edit table calc. Okay, so you'll see we got this one state here because that's the US only. So let's edit this. Don't want to do that. I'm going to exclude the US. Okay, so now we get a trellis chart. This is, what is the state abbreviation? SO. Oh, these must be regions. Okay, so let's create a set. So let's see, states to exclude. All right, so we must have some totals in here somewhere. Midwest. I'm going to exclude the Midwest, the Northeast, the South, the US total, and the West. Did I miss any? Florida, Georgia. So there were regional totals in there. So that must be what they were showing in that bar chart before in the original visualization. Okay, Tennessee. Okay, I don't think I missed any. And let's put that onto detail. Okay, there we go. So this must be, so Texas has a lot. Okay, so maybe what we can do then is I'm going to edit this table calc, or I'm going to add a table calc. So let's make it a percent difference. No, I want to make it a, yeah, I'm going to make it a percent difference. Let's relative to the first, and let's edit the table calc, and we want it to reset every month. So we do it by, no, like that, relative to the first. So this is just looking at the percent change since the first date of the data set. Again, nothing particularly interesting. Let me just drag that down. Right. So that tells me nothing. Okay, well, whatever. All right, so no good there. I was thinking we might be able to get a nice small multiples. Let me clear the table calc, and let's add a table calc. Let's do difference from, percent difference from. Okay, this is what I just did. Let's try maybe a moving average. Let's maybe try the 12-month moving average. So that needs to be 11. Paint across. And then we want to do it by month. Okay, what's this tell us? Okay, so this just gives us a smoother line. Again, doesn't tell us a whole lot. So Florida, Georgia, California. So it looks like it's kind of population based, so not particularly useful. Okay, right. So let's maybe look at the when. I haven't found really anything interesting. Let's look at, or actually, I wonder if I used, the business applications. And right, so again, we've got California increasing. All right, didn't help us at all. So far I've kind of struck out. So now let's look at states to exclude. Let's get rid of that. And if we look at state abbreviation, I need to change my states to be the USA. Okay. All right, we get something like that. Now in the original, they had this nice little, oops. They had this nice little curved USA, and I believe I have a data source for that. Let me see. So if I go to, where do I have that saved? I don't know if this is it or not. State and country. Okay, it might be this one. Let me just try something here. Well, I'm not going to use it anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I am going to edit data source. I am going to bring in my, let's look at a spatial file, and I'm going to bring in data school, data sources, the US hex map file. Let's see, so US states, come on. Wait, is this it? Okay, we'll find out if this is the right one. Spatial file. And then I want to bring this in, and let's just bring it in here. And we want to say state is equal to state abbreviation. Let's see what happens here. So state name is the orange. Okay, so that's not going to match up. So state name. Okay, let's see if that works. Wait, I want to be here on the when. So let's clear the sheet. And if I bring in this, what do I get? Okay, so that is just the state shapes. All right, so that did me no good. I used the wrong spatial file. Oh, I know what it's called. Let me go back again. It's a big show file. I think it's called. Data sources, and I think we call it hex states. Here we go. Hex states. Okay, now this, what does this data look like? So we have, so I'll make sure I joined it up correctly. Oh, come on. So we've got state name, state abbreviation. Okay, so I'll go with state abbreviation to join it. State, let's go with state abbreviation. State abbreviation. Okay, and then I can hide that field, and I can hide that field. So I'm hiding those because I don't need them twice. Okay, so now let me clear the sheet again, double click on geometry, and now I got my hex shapes. Notice how this this shows kind of looks like it's off the coast of Africa or something. That's because it was generated by Joshua Milligan, and it's just basically he just created some polygons. It just happens to be that he started it at the 0, 0 position on the map. So what I'm going to do here is just wash out the background layers, and now we get something like that. Okay, so now I want to look at if I go back to the original. So they've got, you can pick a month, and then you could pick the type of change. Okay, so let's start with just the number of business applications on color. But I need to put the state abbreviation onto the label maybe. Okay, so we get something like that. What are my 5 nulls? Okay, that's going to be, no, that's fine. So my 5 nulls are the regions plus the US total. But why is this not, why am I getting the same number everywhere? Oh, because there's 200. Okay, I need to states to exclude. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got something like that. So I'm going to try something here. I know I've seen other people do this. I don't remember how they did it though. So if I put in, let me just do it like this. No. Okay, so if I show my filter, so let's show filter, but I want to make this discrete. Okay, let's just choose all. We need to now show the filter. Okay. So if I pick just 1 month, for example, we get something like that. So in Florida, I have 99,207. So let's check that back here. So Florida, July 20, let's see. Okay, 53,020. And I get a different number. Isn't that nice? Um, 53,020 business applications, July. So July total was 425,000. I've got 789,000. Right. 100 and, okay, so something's not quite right here. What is Washington? 25 or 75, 28. And it's not doubled. Texas, 73,000. Texas. Yeah, so something's not quite right here. Okay. I'm going to try just filtering this to, let's just duplicate this. And I'm going to filter this to just Texas for now, just for testing. Okay. And what do I have on color here? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. What did I do? Oh, I went to the wrong sheet. Okay, so I'm going to change this to be just Texas. Okay, and I get 22,000 Oh wait, if I look at the last year, 73,605, and I'm getting, where'd it go? 73,605. Okay, so I wonder if it's the way that the data is joining. Okay, I'm going to edit my data source, and I'm going to actually remove this. And then I'm going to add it as a join instead. I don't know if it'll make a difference. It shouldn't, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, great. So then I can hide both of these. But I want to make it a left join because I want to make sure I still keep the US totals. Okay, so that should be fine. So 7. Okay, so I'm getting the same numbers, so nothing changed there. All right, so I'm not quite sure why it doesn't match, but that's very annoying. Okay, let's close that. Notice how I get this big window on the right-hand side of Tableau now too. See that? So I don't know if it's a bug. Somehow this window just starts showing up for no reason whatsoever. Okay, so where are we here? So the where. So that doesn't really tell me a ton. All right, so I'm going to try to take each of these states and I'm going to duplicate that. Right, so let me get rid of the color here. That's fine. And then inside of each of these, I'm going to move that to detail. And I want to have, I was thinking maybe a bar chart inside of each of those. So let's change this to a line. And if I put the month onto the path, let's just get rid of that. Then this is just giving me, okay, let's do. I know I've seen somebody do this before, but I don't remember how. Great. All right. No good. Lots of fails today. I hope you're enjoying it. Okay. So maybe we should just try to reproduce kind of what they have here and start from there. So I'm going to look at the, let's show the, oh, this is probably what it is. So no, there's only one category, so we don't need that. I thought there was something else. Okay. Okay. Have you taken out the regional totals? So yes, Michael, I've taken out the regional totals because they're in this states to exclude filter. So those should be gone. At least I think so. Let me just check again. So like, I think W, yeah, so they're gone. Yeah, so don't need to worry about that. So I'm showing you what not to do. That's right, Jen. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so we have, okay. So we have two types of data we can pick. Okay, so I'm gonna create a parameter and let's call this choose measure. And I'm going to make this a text, or actually, I'm just going to make it an integer. And I'm going to make it a list, and then 1 and 2. So 1, I'm going to display as business applications. Oh, people can do this by. Then 2 is going to be business applications from corporations. All right, so let me show that. And if I make this a drop down, okay, so that's good. Oh, there we go. Let me move this up. Okay, so we've got this measure, and I can just flip between the two. So now I want to create a calculated field, and let's call it measure value. So I'm going to say if we choose measure equals 1, then we're going to do business applications, else business applications from corporations, and okay. And then let's put that onto color. So now if I switch this, we should see that the colors change ever so slightly. Okay. So can I calculate the US average? Okay. Okay, so what I want to do is now so I want to take all of the states. So let me write this down. So so I want to look at the average. So total applications divided by the number of states. That should give me the average, I believe. Okay, so let's look at, let's fix it at the monthly level. We need to fix it at month and state abbreviation. We're going to get the sum of, no, I don't want to do that. I want to get the month. I want to get the sum of business applications. I want to sum that. Okay. I want to divide that by the number of states. So I'm going to do a count D, state abbreviation. This should give me the US average. So I'm going to add this to context, US average to color, and I should get the same number for all of them. Okay, 110 million. I think that's right. Oh, but I need to pick a particular month. So let's see, I'm going to convert it to, oh, wrong one. Okay, well, that wasn't what I wanted to do. God damn it. So I'm going to do month. And then let's make it discrete. Okay, and then I'm going to show this filter. Okay, so now if I look at just July of 2022, they all get 789,000. Okay, so I'm going to just compute this manually. So let's look at states to exclude. Let's add that to context. We want to look at the states and the business application. What am I looking at here? This is business applications from corporations. Okay, so. Okay, and then I'm going to add on my totals. And I want to change this to be an average. 438,870. Oh, but it should only be 1 month. So I get 1834. Okay, so I'm screwing something up here. Okay, so there should be 93,518. So let me go back, and I'm just going to put the measure value on here. 93,519. So I can see that down here. If I look down here on the bottom left, I can see that. Oops. Oh well, forget it. Okay, so I'm doing something wrong here. I believe only US has categories that are adding up. Remove the corporate applications. Yes. So my US average is not, this should be using the measure value. Okay, so now if I go back and put that on here, 93,519. Wait, was that the right number? What do we have here? 93. So that's the total. But then I should be dividing that by the number of states. Okay, so, and this needs to be a level of detail expression as well then. should get 1834. Change that back to an, oops, let's change this back to an, come on. Average 1834. Okay, great. So now if I switch this to just business applications, I get 15,474. And if I switch this to business applications and change this to an average, 15,400. Okay, great. So that's working, right? Okay, excellent. So that's my US average. And then I want to say state, this is US average. Okay, so I'm going to say sum of measure value. So percent difference, so minus the sum of the US average. I'm just going to look at a percent change or percent difference from the US average. So some, what happened here? Oh, this is already aggregated. Okay, so let's put that onto color instead. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put US average on the detail and measure value onto detail. So now I can compare them. So I've got 79,000. So let's say 7,690 minus 15,474 by 15,474 gives me, yeah, so 300 and some percent. Okay, so this now needs to be default properties, number format. Let's make it a percentage, maybe 0 decimals. Okay, so minus 38%. Okay, so that's good. So, all right, so now maybe we're on to something a bit better. So let's make this a drop down. Okay, so now we're comparing to the US. We're not looking month over month change. We're actually comparing everything to the US average. Okay, great. And then maybe we could look at, let's see, so if we have if I look at the US only, and I put the number, let's see, the measure value onto text, and then let's make this, I'm gonna make this one green for now. I'm gonna make this, add this to all using this data source. And now we can see we've got 15, let's see, 1.5 million applications. So let's look here and let's change this to automatic 789. Let's make this US only 15, 7. Okay, so that looks right. All right, so this is my big number here. And then let's look at, or maybe I should make this the US average, something like that, US average. And then I could put measure value on top of that as well. And move that here. Okay, so this tells us the, so this is the US total, this one's the US average. Okay, US total, let's put that here instead. Okay. What I can do now is I'm going to put measure names onto the text. And now when I edit the text, of course, they're always backwards. I don't know why that is, but it's really annoying. Okay, so now I can make this maybe a nice big number. And we can maybe make this like 10. Okay, so now we get something like that. I'm going to align these and then hide the header. Okay, so that gives us the US average for that particular month, the total, and then the US average. Okay, that's great. Okay, so we have that. This is the, okay, so I want to look at, okay, let me go back. So what does to be where? Ooh, it's already been 45 minutes. I'm not getting anywhere. So I've got my bands, I've got that. I could maybe put I wonder if I should put my region totals somewhere. So let's create a new worksheet. Let's look at, where are we here? States. And then I want to look at, what do we have here? Midwest, Northeast, South, and West. Okay, so let's put that onto abbreviation, or no, wrong one, state. And we can look at, and then let's put measure value there. Okay, and I could put US average on detail, and then let's add that as a average line. So per cell, oh wait, I don't want to do that. Undo. Reference line, table, US average. Okay. So this should be the average. No, that's not right. Okay, so that's giving me, I want to do, let's try this here. No, I don't want to do US total. Shoot. What I wanted this reference line to show me was remove reference line. Oh, maybe I could just do an average line. That might be the easiest thing to do. There we go. Okay, so most of them happen in the South. Let me just sort that descending order. And that's fine. Okay, so these are my region rules. And I want to now apply this filter also to my region totals. Okay, I'll make these green. Oops, what happened here? Okay, so we can delete that. We can delete that. Just delete that. Okay, so we've got the where, we've got the bands, we've got the colors. Okay, so I'm going to, let's get rid of that. I'm going to copy this to the, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do that. How's that? Is that minus window average? That should just give me a bubble. Okay, great. So that's what I was hoping for. So this is now telling me how does each one of these compare to the average. All right, so that's okay. And then let's see, I want to force this to be at the center just in case. And then the where, I'm going to force this to be at the center just in case. Okay, so now we've got our regional totals, our bands. We could even do bands by region if we wanted. Let's see. What if we did something like, Okay, so let's duplicate. Right. Okay, let's get rid of that. So in this, I'm going to say let's look at my, this is going to be, what were they again? We had northeast, south, west, and I'm missing one. Midwest. Okay, so I'm just doing this to make the filtering easier. So over here, I could just put region set on here instead. So now I could look at, for my regions, what are the, yeah, let's just put that there. And we could look at the, maybe let's do it like, yeah, let's do it like that. And let's put the month field onto here. And let's edit the axis. I'm just going to make some spark lines here and kind of see how this looks. So independent. Okay, so let's shrink this guy up. I think I'm going to make this quarters instead. Right. Okay, now that drops because we don't have all of the months in the quarter, but I'm just going to kind of see how this looks for now. Okay, and then I want to look at the totals for those. So, okay. All right. So this all should add up to 19 million. Okay, great. So I could format that, make it maybe a nice big font. And let's make it black. And then I'm going to format the numbers to be maybe in millions. Okay, there we go. And then we can hide that. And now we have our kind of our spark lines. Doesn't tell me a whole hell of a lot. Let's say show parameter. Okay. Maybe what I should do is I should have on each of these, let's put an average line for each pane. Okay. And then maybe I'll compute the difference to the average. So where was the average? Okay, that's good. That's what I want. I'm going to make this one the percent variance to average percent. Let's make those bars. How does that look? Not very good. So that's our, yeah, we're comparing everything to 0, so we don't really need that. Definitely not any easier to understand. So let's edit the table calc. So that's, yeah, so that's right. because these few months here are really throwing things off. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that. Worksheet is clear. Okay. I don't really know where I'm going with this, by the way. Just maybe trying to create some big numbers or something like that. But this doesn't really help me at all. Okay, so let me do that. So this is my region totals. That's fine. My region bands. This. No, I won't put that there. I want to put measure value. I'm going to go back to. Oh, look at that. I'm going to put. Where is my date field? So my thinking here is, will it look okay to maybe put these together? Maybe, let's see. Okay, so we've got that. So this is looking at the difference to the US average. But maybe this should be looking at the difference to the US average. State. Okay, let's try that instead. Here we go. So the South. Okay, maybe that's right. So if I look over here in my region totals. Oh, but this is looking at, okay, so if I change this to all. What happened there? My numbers didn't change at all. US average 15,474. $465. Okay, yeah, so the South just has a much higher value. All right, so we've got that. Okay, so we've got kind of these things. Maybe I'll do this as bands instead. So I'm going to maybe go for a relatively similar layout. So let me bring up, I need to kind of finish up here anyway at 6:58, and I've done basically nothing yet. Let's bring up Excalidraw. All right, so what I'm going to do here is, let me just draw a box here. So this is going to, oops. Okay, so this is going to be kind of my dashboard. I'm going to have a title here. Okay. Oops. I'm going to do that. Let's maybe put our title here. And I'm going to maybe draw a line, something like that. Okay, so we've got that so far. That's the easy part. I'm going to have my, maybe I'll have like a filter box over here on the right. So this would be, and then let's add in maybe a, where's my filters here? There we go, something like that. So we're going to put in one of our filters here, and then we'll put in another one, and then we're going to have the box for the color. So I think for that one, I'm just going to put a color box in here. It doesn't really matter. So this is going to represent my colors. So those are the three things that I'm going to have over here. So these three things. And then I'm going to put my, so now I need to decide what kind of the focus is going to be of my visualization. So if I'm going to look at kind of regional analysis, so let me hide that, then what I probably should do is have my, where'd it go here? Have my bands going across. So let's call this West. It doesn't really matter what they're called. 2, 3, 4. And then underneath of each of these, we're going to have, some, oops, let's get to that. I'm going to bring in a line chart. Okay, so each of these is going to have a line chart underneath of it. These are kind of my bands with the lines underneath. And these are going to all need to be in a container. So that's going to be one container. And then this is going to now have inside of it 2 containers. So this is going to be another container. Let's make this red. Oops. So these are going to be in a container, and then these are going to be in a container. Okay, so I'm just kind of practicing my container layout at the moment. And then we've got the US states. So I don't know if there's like a map option here. Let me see if I have, let me just, okay. I'm just going to put some kind of place on. So just pretend this is a map. I know it's not, but pretend it is. So that's that. And then we then have the US totals. Do we have anything else worth looking at? Trying to think if we have anything else worth looking at. This is really terrible. I've done a really poor job of this. Okay, let's just go with that. I've done nothing to improve the original visualization. So I'm going to create a new dashboard. And I'll just leave it at that size. First thing I do is kill the phone layout. And I'm going to float in a vertical container. Oops. Nope, wrong key. Oh, shift. That's right. So shift. And then let's stick this at 0, 0, 1. And I'm going to put padding. Okay. So then I could drag in my dashboard title. So I'll just call this title for now. And then I'm going to put a line underneath of it. So let's put a blank. And let's edit the height. Let's make it 10. Layout, let's make that black. Okay, so now we've got our kind of underline. And now we need to have, this is all going to be in a container here as well. So this is going to get a bit tricky. No, I think I could probably make this work. Okay, let's try putting in a, yeah, let's just try this. I'm going to bring in my region bands, and I'm going to bring in these underneath. Okay, so let's hide the title, and then let's make this fit entire view and edit the height. Let's make it maybe, okay, so now I can make those numbers bigger. And then the problem now is I need these to kind of line up with the axis. So over here on my region bands, I'm just going to put a dummy axis in here. And make this text again. And then format the view. Okay. And then we can Okay, let's see what that looks like now. So what I've done here is I've got this axis here and I want to have it in both places. Okay, so let's call this, so I'm not going to call this state versus US average. I'm going to call it, rename, I can get these to line up and then I can hide these headers and everything lines up nice and neat. Okay, so then I want to put my map in here. But that's not right. Okay, I need to bring in a All right, so this is where, you know, I'm kind of caught in container hell here. So let's float that and then bring that into, kind of want it there. Oops. Okay, but this needs to have, okay. So I'm going to stack some things here. So let's move this inside of that container. Okay, I think I'm okay now. Okay. So then when I bring in my map now, there, you see these pop up in that. Okay, so let's call this the month. Okay, and that's fine. Let's figure out one. Okay, none. All right, so now I can drag this one up and maybe make those more like spark lines. So that might be okay. So let's edit the axis, get rid of the title. Okay. Let's format this view. Format. I'm going to get rid of the grid lines. And then get rid of the 0 lines. Maybe I'll hide the header for that. I still think this might be better if it's quarterly. It'll be a bit easier to look at. Okay, yeah, that's better. And where was that here? Bands. Make this a bit bigger now. Okay. Okay, still. How far back does this data go? 2004. Okay, maybe I'll try yearly. Let's see. Let's try. Oh, there we go. That's probably better. Yeah. Okay, let's. And then we can format this one to set the font to white so we can't see it. And then that looks okay. Okay, so let's get rid of the row dividers and the column dividers.
Well, I mean, there's not much left.
Something like that. Okay. So now when I play around with this, these should change. So that's going to give me my totals. But this is only impacting See, the problem now is when I change a month, it only changes the map. It doesn't change the numbers up at the top. So that's pretty annoying. So I think I'm going to kill that. And I'm going to have this filter. So let's see, customize, apply to worksheets. Selected, and let's do region bands. Okay. So then back on my region bands, I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see what it looks like now. Okay, let's format the view. And we're going to get rid of the row dividers. Okay, so now if I click on this one, I'm going to set this to, I may use it as a filter. Okay, so why is that now filtering everything out? Because I really, ideally, would like to be able to compare. It's because it's in the states to exclude. Okay, let me just get rid of that. And then for US average, because I don't want to, okay. So my US average should be, so if my region set so I only want to count I want to ignore the regions for my US average. Okay, but that still didn't do it. Variance to US average. If region set equals false, then state abbreviation. Right, so that's going to give me the US total. Maybe I should just divide it by 52. Okay, so variance to US. What am I looking at here? I feel like this variance to US average. Oh, I think I changed the wrong field. And then US average. Okay, so I need to edit this. Go back again. Why did you add a blank in the header bands instead of a dummy axis? Good question, Prasad. I did that because it's easier for me to line up the axes to get them exactly the same width. Is there a possibility to add the same color scheme on the map to the lines also? It'll add much of impact. Yeah, could have done that. Okay. So if region set is false, then I want to, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to copy that. And I'm just going to see what kind of number I get here. I get 52. Okay, so why am I only getting 52? Shouldn't I be getting 53? Got 56 rows. Let's do states to exclude. And I've got 51 marks. Oh, because I want to. Okay. Oh, because this is still, okay, I know what the problem is. What are we looking at here? was only true. Okay. Oops. Oh, crap. I'm still not getting the right number. Okay. I think I need to just abandon my idea of filtering to the regions. Okay, well, I'm going to just forget about that. Okay, so what do we have now? Nothing particularly interesting is what we have. Okay. So this is our month. And then we've got the variance to the US average. Okay. So just wondering, so we've got this region totals here. But that's not what I want to do. Okay, what if I just get rid of that? Two lines. Okay. This is terrible. This is really, really bad. So I've done all this and ended up with a map. Okay, let me put a text box in here. No, I don't want to do that. I want to put it all the way at the bottom. Okay, data source is, I think it is the, what happened to, okay, let's get rid of that. US Census Bureau. Right. I don't know what to tell you, folks. This is not particularly good because I don't think the data really changes very much. The data doesn't really change very much month to month, so it's kind of boring. Yeah, so US average 15,474. Well, should we try one more thing? Okay, I'm going to try one more thing. So let's edit the data source. I'm going to add in another data source. Let's add more. And it's cool. Data sources. And then what is it called? I thought this might be an easy data set today, but it's proving to make it difficult. I think this is what I'm looking for. Abbreviation. Okay, that's fine. Okay, should be okay. Okay, let's see if that does it. Oh God, that's not what I wanted. Okay, well, this has gone on long enough. I think I'm going to call it quits and say that I lost the battle today. I could maybe put, yeah, anyway. Not very good. Sorry. I will hopefully do better next time, but hopefully it also shows you where, you know, I mean, I've been using Tableau for a very long time, and I did not do very well with this particular data set, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes that happens. So yeah, so I'm just going to clean this up a bit, and let's say month, and then the variance, and I'm going to put a blank in here. Okay, something like that. Let's move this over and lay out multiple rows. Okay, I think that's maybe a bit better, not much, but it's a bit better. Let's move this over a bit. Okay. So now at least the layout looks a tiny bit better. So business applications by state. Let's maybe make this smaller versus the US average. Okay. So again, it doesn't really tell us a whole lot. You know, my time series really doesn't do anything. I mean, I could maybe put, let's try measure value here. Get rid of the state. And then what I could do is, let's say states to exclude, US only. Let's edit, let's do. So this is going to be my total. So what I could maybe do is take my when sheet, and if I put that, no, can't do it there. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll float it. It's generally not a very good idea in Tableau, but so that sheet, this one. Let's just kind of maybe put this down here in the corner. And we could be behind the header. Could maybe do something like that and then use this as a filter. Let's see if that does anything. Okay, so that filters it a bit. So let me go back here and let's make this here, continuous here. Make it a quarter. Yeah. Okay, what does that look like if we do it by year? Okay, yeah. Over here, and then if I put US average on here as well. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Maybe let's leave it by month. And so if I leave it by month, I could then, the problem is it's really jagged here. So what if I actually put it down there? And let me go back here and let me show the header. But now the whole dashboard looks a bit funny because, you know, I've got, oh God, what a pain. Anyway, I'm gonna clean this up. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move these filters, this stuff across the top. I'm going to put it back down the side again, so that I get a bit more space for the line chart and the area chart, and the map. Because, you know, like if I do something like this, if I put the map here, I could maybe put that next to it. But now the line looks really funny because it's so tall. Let's see, what if I put this here? And let's put this here. And see, then we still have this giant line chart. But yeah, maybe that's okay. Let's maybe get rid of the title. And edit the axis. Okay, there we go. So now if I could do something like that. Okay, so if I fix the height of that, I can get rid of that now. And let's add a bit of padding to the top of this. So layout, let's maybe put 20. Let's fix the height of that. Okay, so now if I shrink up the whole dashboard a bit, let me make it not quite so tall. Okay, so now what I can do, if I get rid of that, maybe something like that. I know, it's a bit better, still not great. But at least we can now show the trend over time. I can use this as a filter for the line chart. I still need to clean up the tooltips and everything, but that's okay. It might be useful then on this sheet to have an average line across the view just for a bit of context. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, I think it's better. Still not perfect, but I've made progress, so that's good. All right, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Sorry it took so long, about 90 minutes today. That's really terrible. So yeah, thanks for joining in, and I hope you learned something. I know I did. I'm going to have a tip coming out this week to show you how to do year-over-year change with a scatter plot. And I also have an interview this week that I'm doing on my new podcast, the Dual Access Podcast with Carmen Taubman. We're going to be talking about, if you had 5,000 pounds to spend, would you spend it on marketing or community? We want to understand the difference between the two and when you should focus on one or the other. And the week after that, I have Larissa Amoroso. She is the VP of Community at Tableau. And later this week, on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, Eva is doing Viz Review. And I think that's it. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you all on LinkedIn and Twitter, and post your visualizations. Don't forget to tag me and I'll take a look at them. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.